Recording.
There she is. I now call the Town of Pierson Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, June 23, 2026 at 6 p.m. to order. At this time, I will ask our town clerk, Yvonne, to please have a roll call.
Yes, sir. Chairman Paul Martell.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Jeff Herron.
Yes.
Commissioner Pastor Max Dias.
I'm here.
And
I'm here.
alright, and Mark and Rebecca. Sorry,
We're here.
I could-
Okay.
There you go.
At this time, I would ask Pastor Max for the invocation, please.
You bet. Let's pray together. Father, we thank you for freedom. Thank you for the 250 years that we celebrate. I pray that we would cherish it as a country, that we would see its value. And thank you for our commission. I thank you for all the members. Pray for Blair tonight, and I just ask that every family be blessed. For the staff, pray that their families be blessed. And if there's a need that we don't know about, Lord, that you would meet that need. And we pray that you would help us tonight, give us help beyond even our own ability to make good choices, good decisions. We thank you for it. In your strong name, amen.
Amen. Please rise and face the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Have the commissioners have an opportunity to read the minutes of May 26, 2026. Hearing nothing, seeing nothing, I would, the chair will will
You know what?
accept and
No,
approve.
they're not in here.
Huh?
No, they're not.
Oh.
They're not in here, Paul.
I thought
We'll
that
leave
was-
that to the next meeting.
Okay, that's fine.
They're probably still on my printer.
No problem. Not the end of the world. At this time, then, we will move the minutes for the next meeting, and I will now turn this over to Mark Corrett, our town planner.
And I'm going to turn this over to Rebecca. We've got 3 applications. They're all for the exact same property.
So we have an annexation request, a large-scale comprehensive plan amendment, and a rezoning request for 3 parcels that are owned by Stacy Jones. All together, they are just under 60 acres total, and they're located on the northwest side of Washington Avenue. They are proposed to go from the county's future land uses of environmental systems corridor, which also includes water. One of the parcels is mostly a pond, and agricultural resource to the town's agricultural and rural residential designation and conservation designation. And the breakdown of that is about 22.5 acres will be agricultural and the rest will be conservation. And that coincides with zoning as well, which will go from the county's resource corridor and prime agriculture zoning to the town of Pierson's comparable zoning, which are conservation and A1 agricultural. The main difference is that the county's ag zoning allows for 1 unit per 10 acres, and the town allows for 1 per 5. That does potentially allow for subdivision, but it is not expected to have a major impact on utilities or traffic. At most, you'd be looking at less than 10 lots, and at this time he's not proposing subdivision. If you look at the map on the annexation request, it's the very last page. I'm sorry, second to last page. With the aerial, it shows where the water line stops. So he's not proposing to connect to the town's utilities at this time. So based on the findings for both the comprehensive plan amendment and the rezoning, staff is recommending approval for all three requests. The annexation, the large-scale comprehensive plan amendment, and the rezoning. Does anyone have any questions about any of the requests?
I have a quick question.
Commissioner Max?
If we approve this, what's the worst that could happen?
Worst that could happen, meaning what development potential would it
Yes.
have? Development potential would be that he could subdivide, so, in theory, he could have twice as many homes as the county would allow. Now, one of the parcels is almost completely submerged, it's a pond. Both parcels do have a substantial amount of wetlands, so if you just took, you know, just the raw area, conservation is one home per 20 acres, he's gonna have just over 37 acres, so we're looking at, you know, one home there, and then 22 and a half that's ag. So you're looking at, instead of 2 homes, potentially 4, based on that.
That's the worst that could happen.
That's what I
So-
thought, but I.
Any other questions from
And
the
just so
commissioners?
everybody knows, our understanding why he's doing, why he's annexing
Yes.
in, he's, his daughter is getting married. He has constructed a barn on his property. He did that under the guise of, you know, in his own mind, he was thinking, it's agriculture, I'm gonna put a barn up, I don't need a permit. Well, the county, so he went to the county then to put energy in that barn, and they said, well, you know, are you actively doing any ag on your property right now? And he said, well, no, it's, you know, I live there. And then they said, well, you can't get a permit to put, you know, power in that barn then, you know.
And he doesn't have the tax exemption
Right,
for
so-
ag at the moment, even though he has the ag
So-
zoning.
So they basically told him he has to establish, you know, has to go through the process of establishing ag if he wants to get a permit, or leave the barn as is, or potentially remove the barn, so that's why he's annexing it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I would do the same.
I would too.
Well, are there any questions other than that, to the commissioners?
I don't have any questions.
Jeff, you're
No.
good?
No, I'm good.
Max?
I'm good.
Good. All right,
So each
we're
one
gonna
of
do these individually.
beat me to it.
Right, right. Okay, with the permission of the council, I will entertain a motion for parcel ID 482500000016.
And this one is,
You don't have to do each parcel individually,
They-
what you have to do is each
Request.
each request, so the
Oh, okay.
annexation has to be
Annexation.
separate, the comp plan has to be separate, and the
Yeah.
rezoning, but you don't have to do it, you don't have to do it 9 times, you just have to do it 3.
do the subject line, essentially?
I think we could just make the motion by the subject line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do I hear a second?
So,
The second. Any discussion?
So we're gonna do the
Well, I did,
annexation.
let me just do it a little more formally, so, let's see, which one we wanna do first. Does it matter?
Annexation.
Okay.
No,
All
annexation
right,
goes first, then
so-
comp plan, then rezoning.
I move that we approve the, voluntary annexation petition, for Mr. Jones.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next,
All right, is there one you want next?
Comp plan,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
large scale
comprehensive
comp
plan.
plan.
Okay, I move that we approve the large-scale comprehensive plan amendment with 3 parcels identified, for Mr. Jones in this request.
do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jeff. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Next,
And I move that we approve the rezoning request, identifying the 3 parcels identified, for Mr. Jones.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, is there any other business to be brought before the commission, the planning commission of Pierson?
I have a question.
Please do.
One of the residents asked about the progress, the future plans of the water system, and I said that I would just bring that up, see where we were at on
Are you
that.
talking about the water system or the wastewater system? So the water system, we have the new plant is in operation. They're gonna do some work on the old plant, and then the plan is to basically cycle between the 2 plants, so that we don't, it's interesting, cause you know how, we talk about land being grandfathered in? Well, it works the same way with water plants, apparently. If you were ever to take that out of service, so it sort of becomes unlicensed, if you were then to reestablish it, you'd have to make a whole bunch of, upgrades to that. So as long as it continues to, both function properly, then you can continue to have that as a, licensed and certified plant. So they are gonna make some improvements to it, but they're gonna keep it in service. So that's the plans with the water plant. We were actually just talking, there are some future improvements that do need to be made to the water system. One of the things that they've found over time is that back when this was developed in the 90s, I'm sure this was to save money, they sort of skimped on the amount of valving that's in the system, which is important because if you ever break a line, you can then isolate it and you don't have to have large portions of your system. So, one of the things that has been discussed over the years has been, might be a good idea to, make sure all the current valves you have are all exercised and properly functioning, and then add some additional valves to the system so that in the future you can, as things happen, you can isolate, smaller portions of your system. And the valves are, that's what adds cost to the system. So that's something that will be looked at as a future capital item. In terms of the wastewater system, we're completed, there's basically 3 phases, 4 technically. First phase was a facility plan, which was done, back in, started in 2020 and was kind of completed by 2022. Then there was a design. That design has just been completed. And so the next phase would be to go out, get authorization to go out to bid and then get a construction loan. So, in theory, you don't have to, continue on with those phases. You can stop at any point. But there's, money was borrowed we went through what's called the state revolving fund. State revolving fund is a low interest loan fund where the state loans money to municipalities and counties to establish water and wastewater facilities. And the most advantageous terms are the construction loans. So, for example, if they were stopped now, there wouldn't be much forgiveness on what has been spent so far on the facilities plan and design. Most of that would have to be paid back. It's obviously not as large a cost as the construction loans would be, and you still have, like 30 years to pay it back. So it's really not a significant amount. But if you do go to construction phase, that typically is 80% forgiven, and town would only be on the hook for 20%. It's also believed that grants could be achieved for or other types of funding for the other 20%. So most likely construction would be fairly inexpensive for the town, but obviously the town would be responsible for maintenance of that plant, and not everybody would be responsible for paying their bills, which typically are more expensive than paying your water bill. It really all depends upon the plant and how much it's going to cost you to maintain it each year. So part of what has happened is that the plant design that was originally done has been changed to a far less expensive to maintain system. Because one of the things that was done after sort of the 60% design of the system, we then went through this process of value engineering, and we had gone out and spoke to vendors about what it would cost to maintain the system that Mead and Hunt, the engineer who was designing it, was proposing. And it turned out that would have been a fairly expensive plant to operate. It had a lot of technology in it. So this, the current proposal is for something far less expensive. But
So is that design plan done?
it's going to be, so to simplify the story,
It's a simple question. Are they done with that
no,
design?
the simple answer is no, but the
Okay.
answer to why that's not done is a little bit more complicated. So I was, simplifying the story a little bit. Because, and I'm sure maybe you'll remember some of this. I know most of you have, you particularly, and you, Paul, have sat through a lot of the meetings. So originally, the plan for the water plant was to develop it very similar to how, for the wastewater plant was to develop it very similar to how the water plant was done. The water plant was basically took over the school's water plant and expanded it and turned it into a municipal system. And so when we originally approached the county about doing a wastewater plant, they said, we agreed. They said, we agree. We don't want to operate the plant. We'd be very happy if you took over that plant, expanded it, and turned it into your system. And as long as you maintained it, that'd be fine with us. Then all those people who agreed to that basically left the county.
Yep.
And two sets of new people came in over a period of time because there was another delay. But as we began discussing these things, the new people said, no, we don't want, we'd be very happy to become a customer of the town. We'd love to be out of operating our own system, but we do not want the new plant on our property. And so that meant significant changes and redesign to the system. So in order to absorb the costs within the current design contract, because we had to change now the design of the collection system, they basically decided to complete the design of the collection system, but the plant would be what's called a design build. So Eden Hunt has basically taken the plant design to probably about a 60% portion of design. The contractor, assuming that this goes forward, the contractor who builds the plant is actually going to complete and finish that design.
And when do we anticipate that?
Well, there's the catch. So
Always.
So here's the catch. The catch is as I said, each of these steps are independent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can do a feasibility plan and then, not do a design.
Right.
And you can do a design and not go build. So we're gonna have to get the commission to a point to make a decision, one way or the other, on proceeding, whether they want to go out for bids. They can get prices in, see what it's all gonna cost.
So the new design is completed.
The collection system is 100% completed, so that's.
But that's where we are now at.
So
Do we construct?
So we're now at a decision, do we want to go out for bids based on our plan and see what it's all gonna cost? See if and then go through the process of going through the state revolving fund and going through some other grants processes, getting you can still at that point, even if you get your loan, even if you get your an additional grant, you can then decide not to proceed to build. But I think.
And at that point, how much are we talking ballpark that the town's going to be on the hook for at this point?
Okay, so at what your question, make sure.
Okay, if we have gone out and we got the design done.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we were not to build at that point, how much money is the town looking at losing because they have to pay back?
Well, I mean,
105, 200, $500,000.
I'm trying to remember. Usually when I answer these questions, I usually prep before the meeting. Let's see. Try to remember. I think about how much are they out now on the design? It was about $800,000.
Okay, so almost $1 million, which is almost an annual budget for this town.
Yeah, paid back over.
Yeah, paid back over time, but still.
Yeah.
Well, did I understand right, that there's a certain point you go to where you don't have to pay that back?
If we go all the way to construction, 80% of everything we spent will be forgiven, and you'll have to pay 20% of the total. But if you stop, and you don't go forward, then you don't get the same level of forgiveness.
And we won't know what that 20% would be until we go out and do bids.
Until we go out and do bids, right?
So it could potentially be the 800,000, depending on construction cost.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Mark,
And
question.
honestly, with going, because this has gone on so long, I could be sharper on these numbers than we are here in this
This
discussion.
is general conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm sure our commissioners understand that.
I
Now,
know,
my
but-
question
but
to you,
as you can
is-
tell, I like to caveat as much as I can.
Right.
well, most certainly, is Senator Wright still in charge
Oh,
of
yeah,
the funding?
yeah.
He's still there?
Yeah.
All right. Who is responsible to fill the paperwork out to be sent to the senator's desk Is it us? Is it
N-
you?
Here's the problem, we can't just fill the paperwork out, because they're, you know, we did this once.
I know it, but there was a snafu and I know
No, there
that.
wasn't really a,
Yeah, there was.
there wasn't really a snafu, we did get all the, it was a little bit late, but all the paperwork got in. The problem is that we were competing against a whole bunch of other projects that had gone further along in the process.
Right.
So that's why, you know, if we were to just say, hey, let's see if we can get this grant money and then go out for bid, it's not gonna work. We're gonna have to, if you wanna apply for the kind of
Yeah,
money that we discussed with
yeah.
Senator, we're gonna have to go forward to bid.
You
And so-
didn't answer my question, of who is responsible to fill the paperwork out? Is it the town of Pierson, or is it your
Meeting Hunt.
company? That's my
It's
question.
it would be Mead and Hunt.
With approval from the council.
With approval from the council.
Okay,
So,
all right.
but, like I
So
said.
what I'm gonna ask you,
so-
wait a minute,
Okay,
let me finish. So what I'm gonna ask you, if it's gonna be to the council, why can't we get these wheels rolling as opposed to sitting on our duff?
there are some members of the council
Well, I know that.
that are not really ready to go forward. You know, they're concerned that people get saddled with, you know, larger bills than they'd like to pay.
Well, here's the other question I have. This is phase one. How much of this town will have sewage to their homes on phase one? Approximately.
I mean, I don't know percentage, but it's basically, you know, the corridor,
The school.
school, you know,
Okay,
down this way,
down 17,
you know, down 17 and kind of over and around
Second Avenue,
through and
north.
through the little commercial development there, and then it can be expanded. It can be, you can do more than one phase, but
Okay.
that's how
Next
phase one is
question.
defined.
How
And that's
long
flexible.
before it will actually get to the residential areas, because you're potentially talking your commercial customers.
Yeah, so you're asking me questions that I can't answer because it really depends on how aggressively do we want to do this. You could, if the council really wanted to, they could say, let's do 3 phases at once. Let's go out to bid on 3 phases at once. They could say, let's do all the phases. I just don't think that's what they're going to want to do.
Right.
I think
My
if they
next
do
question-
roll forward, it'll be with us.
So my next question is, if in phase one is completed, then every resident in this town will have to pay sewage that they're not attached to?
No,
No?
no.
So it will not be part of their bills until they're attached?
Well, the council has the ability, I mean, they could charge everybody who, it's really a council decision.
Mhm.
They can make that decision. I don't think that will happen. That's certainly not set up that way. The way it's recommended they do it is they only charge people who have
Access to the system.
access to the
Or
system.
could they up your water rates to help fund the sewage?
Well, the water rates were increased for 2 reasons. One, because they weren't increased for 30 years, and the system had, you know, serious, you know, maintenance.
Mhm.
The other reason they were increased is to create a little bit of a cushion, right? Because in the very beginning, you're gonna construct a sewer plant, and you're gonna turn it on, and you're gonna have operating costs,
Sure.
and
So
you
essentially, the
wouldn't rate
water
me.
bill increase cushion would be paying for the sewer system,
It'd be-
which essentially means that the residents would still be paying.
They're paying for a couple front end months of operation, really. It's not like the whole year is, you know, that increment increase was basically to you're gonna have this lag between when you turn on your wastewater plant and when people start paying for it, right? Cause people pay you don't pay and then
Pay in
use
arrears.
you pay in arrears. So that's really, so it was minimal. The largest reason for the increase was,
Cause we hadn't had an increase in 30 years.
right.
Yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
that.
But that's basically what you're creating this, you know, you do need to create a couple months for the cushion. So,
Okay,
Okay,
was just curious.
you
yeah.
did a good job. We appreciate that, thank you.
Mhm.
So, the next step is really getting a workshop in front of the commission, bringing in somebody like CWS, who CWS is the water system provider, having them talk about the design of the wastewater plant, because basically we use their feedback to create a wastewater plant that would be fairly inexpensive to operate. And then see if we can get the commission to go forward, because that's really
You
what
mean
they
the
have to
council?
do. The council.
Yeah.
They need to,
Is that where it's gonna start, at the council?
it's gotta
Or
start the
does it have
council.
to
The
come through
council,
us at all?
it doesn't have to come through you at
Okay.
all. I mean, you guys could,
So our
You-
job
you could
is to
pass
go
it.
to the meetings, and if you're for it, speak,
right, or
Yeah.
talk to council members, you know.
individually.
Individually,
Sure.
but, yeah, you know.
Okay,
I do, you know, while we're talking about
yeah,
this.
sure,
and,
please do.
You know, I do think that if the ad valorem tax thing passes, and, you know, you're basically gonna have two kinds of pressure, right? The way that seems to be written is new development that's less than 5 years old won't be on the tax roll, so there's gonna be incentive to have some level of new development always occurring, so that.
Sure.
Right, and then, obviously, commercial, you know, doesn't have any exemptions on it. So Pierson has very limited commercial development. I do think the wastewater system, if it were in place, would spur at least some modest,
Sure.
you know, commercial growth, so.
Yeah, common sense. Maybe a
Anyway.
Burger King,
Yeah.
maybe a
Well,
Publix.
But I think we'll have to get to the point where we're gonna have to get some estimates of what we think bills are gonna cost, and then people are gonna have to decide, you know, I mean, there's gonna be some people in this community,
But we cannot initiate this,
No,
no.
no, it has
Council
to be the
decision.
council.
it's at
All right.
council level now, Ron.
You answered the question. Are there any other questions from the commission members? No, hearing none. Please.
Remember your Form 1 due by July 1st? I sent everybody an email.
I did mine.
Did mine.
Okay, I just need your little certificate you can print out. At the end of it, it tells you there's a little certificate you can print out. I just need that for the town.
I have a receipt, I'll send it to you.
That's fine. Just something
I
showing that
didn't,
you've
I
done
didn't see
them.
the certificate either, I saw the receipt, I
haven't
sent
done
that
mine
to her.
yet.
She does.
Well, I'll do
Yeah,
mine.
Commission of Ethics and get it
I'm
on.
on a board of Daytona, I have not done mine.
But
You
Not
come
your
in here and do
fault.
it.
the
Huh?
answer
You
to
can
this is
sit
to
on
make it a
computer and do it.
referendum.
Okay.
Vote on
I
it,
did
and
mine
there
in
yet
5
to do it.
minutes.
Yeah.
I have to do it,
Just
just,
let-
you can come and sit.
Yeah,
on
I
the
got my numbers and all, my password, I got all that.
Yeah, you can
Fear's
come
the
here.
problem.
Fair enough. I will.
They're afraid, make people mad.
It's been bothering me.
Fear.
I'm trying to find the email.
Sorry.
You
Oh,
hear
how
what I
long ago
said?
did I send that
You
out
hear
to you
what I
guys?
said?
It was
The
like a
answer
month
is a
ago,
referendum.
maybe?
Oh, yeah.
It's been at least a
Vote on
month,
it. Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know,
For the
you
commission.
put that on the wastewater
Oh,
system?
ethics, you have to do.
I
your-
mean,
you found it?
yeah, somebody could put that
I
on the
didn't see it
ballot.
earlier.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
the
forward it to
council
my work
could,
email
but
where I see it.
I
like
don't,
every
you know,
Excuse me.
I just don't know
Excuse the
what,
phrase, gotta Peter get off the pot.
I don't know what the
Gotta move.
magic number is that would be acceptable to people. You know, we've always been trying to, you know, see if we could bring it in with a bill of, you know, $50 or less a month. But I don't, you know, without really doing the math
I'll
and
tell you.
figuring it out. And I don't know whether that's,
Give you a
Other
certificate.
properties I have,
It's a- when you get done
wastewater
with it,
is,
it'll say, do you wanna print or email the certificate?
it's up there.
either print it, email it, take a picture with your phone, just so I have a copy of it to
Okay,
verify that you've done it.
cause I don't think I had to do that in the
Median
past, did I?
income.
I've done
You're
this,
supposed to.
really?
Yeah.
Cause this is what, the
That's
third
gonna
or fourth
cost
time
more
I've done
than
that.
that way, because, what
Okay.
is it,
I've kept
thirty-five
the phone
thousand
ever
now?
since I've been here,
Or
where
it
I
was a
stack
few
it
years
up.
ago.
I haven't,
Alright, I'll
I
send
haven't
it
checked
to
in
you.
a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Mark probably
I
knows.
don't know, I don't.
Is there any more information that needs to be taken from Mark and Rebecca?
We're done.
So you're all set, commissioners?
Yes, sir.
With your permission, the next planning commission meeting will be July 28th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Any more business to be brought before us? Hearing none, seeing none, I close the Town of Pierson Planning Commission meeting. Thank you, appreciate it. And Mark, thank you.